So that gave it a big boost.
Hitler, huh? Not Hitler.
No, Hitler.
Do you agree with my rather extreme sentiment on book reviews, Jeremy?
What is your sentiment on book reviews again? I've been
I
catching up
feel
on
like
the
it's just,
wrestling show.
uh,
There was a pay per view tonight, and I forgot about it, so I was catching up on the results for that. So what is your extreme view on reviews?
I don't have the energy to get back into it.
Well, no, just summarize, or somebody tell me what
Basically, like they're all completely like,
subjective.
no, not even that. It's that they're, well, I mean, I hate to use the word fake, but they are in the sense that I'm okay with things like literary theory, movie theory, people grouping genres and like talking about stuff. I'm good with that. But as far as reading a book, one book, and then sitting down and, you know, vomiting a couple of paragraphs about it, I can't see that as a genuine act, having read a lot of reviews and written a lot of reviews, because there's always something that's like you're guided towards, uh, you know, reviewing a whole book based on whatever your immediate some reason external to whatever the book was about,
I
or
think you're
your reading
overthinking it.
experience. What?
You're overthinking it. You as a consumer, you consume the book, and yes, you may vomit it back out, but I mean, you
No, that's not right, because I've written things, reviews, and then like later I kind of change my mind on it because there's so many things in a book going on. But the way I know that they're all fake is like, and you've seen it too, I'm sure, there will be some kind of posh reviewer who will have a review.
Like Ben.
Yeah, like Ben. And then
Yeah,
like,
I'm definitely one of the posh reviewers. You should all
but
be
then like
very
all the
grateful
way
for my
down the
presence.
Goodreads thing, there'll be people reviewing books in exactly the same way they did it, saying the same jokes, the same, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
I guarantee
And
you nobody is copying my review style.
well, you don't really review as much as you do, like you kind of like you read it and then you post your immediate thoughts.
Yes.
That's better than writing like a formal book review.
Yeah,
But
you
to
don't do.
me,
You don't.
doing
You
that
just.
is so ingenuine.
I don't treat a
But
review like I'm writing an actual story like some people. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, I don't think you. I don't know if you heard my earlier what I said earlier about, to me, like, reviewing is an entirely selfish endeavor because I don't have many people like in my personal life that I can talk about books to. Most of my friends aren't big readers. My girlfriend's not a big
I
reader,
heard
and
that
all of
part.
that.
I did hear that.
But yeah, it's just, for me, reviewing is just a way I can talk about, books in a way that I can't really do it in my personal life.
Talk to other book people. Yeah.
Talk to us.
Well, yeah, I talk to you guys, obviously, but we only do this like every Sunday night, and
Yeah.
obviously when I'm sent books,
He
I
needs
do.
more. He needs more.
Yeah, I definitely have like fallen out of like reviewing as regularly as I used to. I don't think I've written any reviews this year, and I'm reading the first book that I'm doing for the first review of this year, and that's The Lucky Star, which is like 600 pages long. So
You'll be reading
That's
that
gonna-
at the end of the year.
so yeah, that's gonna take a while to read, and
Hey, that's gonna be me. The books I'm reading now, it's gonna be forever till I finish them. Like Kant's A Critique of Pure Reason. The way I'm tackling that's freaking 10
yeah,
pages.
more
a day.
like Immanuel Kant. Am I right?
Am I right? Yeah.
He's better than Nietzsche any day of the week.
You are wrong about that. Seriously.
No,
I
I'm
just
not.
thought
It's
that
like
our senses were inadequate to experience life.
Well, the thing is, like, I agree with that, and that's actually something Nietzsche agreed with. Like, he once said, "There's no such thing as facts, only interpretation." But Nietzsche is way better to fucking read instead of Immanuel Kant. Kant is like so fucking dry.
You see, I don't think he is, because if you take it slow, it's kind of like an immediate pop, pop, pop. It's exhausting more than it is dry. That's my assessment of it. And I'm like 80 pages in, plus all the freaking millions of freaking introductions by like theorists and whatnot.
I hate that. There's a preface and then an introduction to the introduction and then the
Yeah,
prologue.
dude, there's
I hate,
freaking,
I
even
hate
when
it.
you start his book, there are introductions to the prefaces, and I mean, it's crazy.
Any book with a history of reprinting, everyone's got to add to it. I hate that shit. I
Yeah,
want to immediately go to chapter 1. I don't care if it's fiction or nonfiction. You know,
But
I'm with you.
I want an immediate experience with the author, not the author's 12 apostles, you know?
now
I'm
I'm
with you.
into afterwards, the introductions. Yeah.
I-
However, with Kant, though, I think it was actually pretty helpful to read those introductions because it gives you a kind of a groundwork to follow what he's getting at. But once you kind of have that and you're thinking in that way, I don't think it's boring as much as it is just so much stuff that it's exhausting. But I mean, it's pretty fun. I've kept at it.
But it's like that meme that I shared with you was with pretty much every modern philosopher attacking Immanuel Kant. Yeah, there's a reason for that.
Yeah, there's a reason for it, all right, because they're all.
You know what? I would like to see him attack Hegel because if it weren't for Hegel, there wouldn't have been that sorry excuse for a podcast diet soap.
I
right?
don't
Not
know.
familiar
Well,
with that.
Nobody
Max
knows what I'm
Stern.
talking about.
Yeah, I haven't heard of that. Max Stirner was one of Emmanuel or Hegel's students, and he basically just completely rejected Hegel.
I don't get how you can reject Kant though. Like, well, okay, I understand how you could do it, but
Kant was a fucking nerd who was a fucking incel he just wrote books like a fucking instruction manual.
no, he was attacking the
But
very
yeah,
core.
he did have occasional like good poetic lines like that whole "the starry heavens above me and the moral law within" line. That's a pretty poetic line, even though it's fucking wrong.
Striving to be poetic though, he's striving to get at like the core of experience. That if you're so bogged down in empiricism, you can
Experience is poetic.
You can miss how much that so-called empiricism and factoids completely are not possible without our intuition, a la what I guess it's Latin or whatever, a priori. Even things such as space and time, we can't comprehend them without first intuiting them.
But yeah, that's one thing I'll give him, like the distinction between the noumena and the phenomena. I definitely agree with him on that, even though I think Nietzsche articulated it better.
See, my problem with Nietzsche, I guess, I mean, it's obvious why I would have problems with him being Christian. My main problem with him is that he's very focused on this idea of, like, I guess, deifying, I don't know if that's a word, the human being, while still being cognizant of the fact that without this kind of like moral groundwork, it's kind of worse off for us. And he kind of admits that at the beginning of Thus Spoke Zarathustra, but every person I've seen interpret it say it's a positive thing, and I don't get it. It's just like my dang professor freshman year who we read The Stranger, and he saw everything Marcel, or how you pronounce his name, was doing as a positive thing, and most of the kids were like, yeah,
kill those arrows. Yeah.
But then there were like a handful of students, like, and even one professor, because this particular class had two professors, they're like, well, can you not see how he's morally wrong? And then they're all like, morals aren't real. I mean, it just gets on my nerves.
I think the problem is viewing everything Marsault does as real, because I think for most of the book, Marsault is just kind of going through and just doing things as they come along, and it's not until later that he realizes the absurdity of his situation. So yeah, but I definitely do think like the Camus philosophy is ultimately a very positive one. It's the idea like
it is once you get into what his intentions are, but someone just flat out reading The Stranger saying, yeah, he realizes that all this is fake and you can be a stranger to the universe and be justified in it. I would say if you have that damn mindset, like, I, it's just insane to me. And I believe he was getting that across. This is pure insanity, but it's got this kind of edgelord appeal, and that's why people kind of vape it so much.
Like, yeah, maybe it does, but to me, like, uh, it's almost like aphoristic, the idea of, let's just like, all of life is shit, but if you really think that way, then you may as well like try to plant some seeds and see what flowers you can grow. Um, to me, that's at least now that seems like almost an obvious kind of thing. And obviously, like I'm not a Christian, so I don't believe in anything higher. So to me, that just seems obvious, but I'm sure to a lot of people, like especially in a time where they were trying to struggle with the idea of the collapse of religion, um, that was a new and inspiring thing.
Demons.
So are you a
I
Luciferian?
say that in a
I'm
joking
not-
manner.
Ben,
but I'm
are
like
you a
100%
Luciferian?
serious about this.
I wouldn't call myself a Luciferian if only for the idea is the kind of mysticism that LaVey brought into it was unnecessary at best.
So you're a Satanist.
No, I'm not a Satanist.
I thought you were like atheist.
Well, yeah, I am an atheist, but I'm not a Satanist in the sense that I think that because even like LaVey and Satanism brought in a lot of like what I think is a lot of like unnecessary kind of uh, unnecessary esotericism. I think like just the idea of like the struggle of living every day is what gives us meaning. Like I don't believe in any like higher powers. I believe like the struggle of just living every day as a human is what gives us meaning, and we don't need anything like a higher power to justify that.
So Zach, in so many words, what he's trying to tell you is that he's a Satanist. Is what he's trying to say.
Hey, this psych degree or whatever that you have, are you on Team Freud or Team Jung?
Personally, I'm probably closer to Team Jung. I personally don't have a lot of use for Freud.
Yeah, I'm on Team
I
Young
think-
too. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Jung, he like I view him in a way that is like something useful in an emotional sense, but not necessarily in a empirical sense. Freud tried to come up with this idea that explained everything, and I'm of the mindset that something that explains everything explains nothing. So I definitely reject Freud's psychoanalysis and Freud's analytics as being an explanation for everything in terms of everyday like a psychological sense. But I do think like Jung in his like sort of literary criticism kind of way is a good way of viewing how people view things like on an emotional level.
You know, I heard that.
So Freud was a coke addicted motherfucker who wanted to fuck his mom. So fuck him.
Yeah, I mean that's true. And he was, a heavy cocaine user. Have you heard of Jung's Red Book? The Red Book, Liber Novus.
I haven't heard of that. No, can you talk about that?
Well, it's apparently rare. Hang on, let me read this. It recounts his experiences of imaginative experiences between the years 1913 and 1916, and it was not published for study until 2009. It's very rare, though, from what I understand. It even has it has some weird like fictional scenarios in it where he encounters different versions of himself, and they go to war against each other.
Yeah. I think ultimately I'd say I'm on Team Frederick Cruz.
Now, who's
who
that?
was
Ted Cruz.
he
No, Frederick.
No, Frederick Cruz. He was a skeptic who was very very critical of Freud. He actually wrote a couple of satirical books about Freud, about Winnie the Pooh, where he took psychoanalytic theories and applied it to reading Winnie the Pooh that are really entertaining to read. But I definitely think that
You're drunk.
Sigmund Freud, he was I've been drinking a lot of rum, but Sigmund Freud, he was sort of like the Aristotle of psychology. He wrote a lot of works that, on one hand, are important and need to be considered, but on the other hand, were extremely primitive and need to be disregarded. And a lot of his psychoanalytic theory needs to be he was right about things like the fact that our relationship with our parents kind of defines our relationship with anyone else, and that talking about our times as a child are important to looking at our own neuroses in the modern day. But on the other hand, he was wrong about almost anything else.
Hey, wow, this has been intense with the philosophy. You and Zach seriously had a moment there. Did you feel it, Gregor? And Zach had
I did feel it.
They had an exchange that
These guys,
An exchange.
yeah, they were really connecting. They were
Yeah,
connecting.
I wasn't lying when I said that me and Zach are discussing philosophy on Twitter a lot.
philosophy in 100
Like on direct messages, you mean? Or are you guys trying to sound real impressive to the masses?
on direct
Yeah,
messages.
Okay.
Don't you guys run out of characters? Oh, okay. Direct.
I also wasn't lying when I was saying that we're basically like the drunk graduate students at the bar who are just chatting about Kant all night.
Oh, check. Wait. I got to put this up on the screen. Why won't it? Why is it? Hang on.
While you're trying to figure that out, I really need to go to the bathroom, so I'll be right back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, have a nice time.
There it is. There's Frank's. Okay.
This Frank's what?
This is like Slash being interviewed on MTV, but it's The Quiet Place. And Slash is Ben and Freud is Adam Curry. Who's Adam Curry?
That's some old people knowledge right there.
Yeah, I've heard of Adam Curry, but I don't know who that is.
Is that 120 Minutes guy? Or no, that's Matt Pinfield.
Oh, heck, there's been a whole live chat this whole time.
You didn't know?
Well, normally the little notifications come up, but they never did.
Yeah, it's been there. Just
Adam Curry is a guy from the MTV days back in the. Yeah, okay, all right. He's like a VJ or whatever you want to call those cats.
Just Loyal Frank and a few others that came and went apparently and never announced their presence.
What about Eli Cash?
Eli's not here this week apparently.
What?
Mm-hmm.
You better send a care package to him.
Anyway,